money, smile like honey. She a good girl, man, but she act bad for me. Yeah, checks in to get a check.
Lock 'em up, hoops. I am Realistic Randy from Mastermind and Bowberry. Talk all things NBA. Let's talk some Chicago Bulls talk right now because Joakim Noah, Mastermind and Bowberry. There are reports right now that says he wants to be out from Chicago. He doesn't apparently trust the Chicago Bulls organization. Reportedly, he's telling teammates that he is done with the Chicago Bulls. So, Bowberry, let's start with you, man. What do you make of Joakim Noah and the rift between him and the Chicago Bulls?
Well, I saw this coming full steam ahead when their coach decided to up and bench Joakim Noah. So there was a lot of bullshade coming that way, coming that way.
Hashtag bullshade.
Bullshade coming a long way from that man. So I kind of seen that coming. I mean, he probably being the team player that he is, because we all know this guy is like the heart of like their defense and everything else like that from the Thibodeau system. So he was definitely kind of feeling some sort of way, especially after being a defensive player of the year. I think only a year before that, I believe, if not the year after that.
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years before that, he was a defensive player of the year. So it's like, how do you just get rid of that whole system? And then on top of that, you mysteriously got hurt. As soon as he got hurt, you didn't hear anything from Joakim Noah after that. That probably plays a role into, what's going on today and why he's saying what he's saying. And we all know Joakim Noah is a pretty expressive guy. And, he doesn't bite his tongue for anything. We've seen a lot of things from the old Cleveland games. And when they played the Heat, he has a lot of heat for LeBron. But, he's not going to hold his tongue. So all these things coming out, I'm not surprised. And I don't blame him. I mean, he's not a guy that's going to change, your franchise as like, a prolific scorer or anything like that. But he brings what you kind of need, like that doesn't show up on the stats and stuff like that. He brings that energy. He brings, the defensive minded and that toughness to your team. So I think the Bulls made a huge mistake by doing whatever they did in the background. I mean, the information's still coming out, as we know. It's just a lot of GM things and such like that. But, it's going to blow up over there in Chicago for everybody as far as we're concerned. I mean, we've seen it happen with Thibodeau. We've seen the riff-raff between Thibodeau and Paxson. We've heard the riff-raff between Jimmy Butler and Derrick Rose. And, as Realistic Randy says best, it's a dumpster fire over there as a whole. So Joakim Noah is definitely out, and I definitely believe all of it. I saw it coming from game one when they benched him. So that's really my take on or my input on that. So
the Chicago Bulls are definitely a dumpster fire to be. They will be the equivalent of the New York Knicks because Pau Gasol is going to leave. Joakim Noah is going to leave. Derrick Rose wants a max contract as well. And who knows if Chicago will leave and re-sign. Who knows? Maybe they will. And you just re-sign Jimmy Butler, which, apparently there's been reports that, apparently not too many people get along with him. But I don't know that. I'm just going to say based off of, what – if I'm the Chicago Bulls, you have to blow this thing up. You have to. No players, with everything that's been going on with Chicago for the last couple of years, players aren't going to want to go there. The one thing that you did have to lure them there, Tom Thibodeau, although some would say, maybe not so much because he would run players into the ground. It could go either way. He's gone now. So you got Fred Hoiberg, Pau Gasol is going to leave, Joakim Noah, he's going to leave, Derrick Rose, he's still hanging around. Derrick Rose may still be a serviceable player and everything like that, but I think the letdown that, in all due respect, he's been to Chicago, I think it would be, completely ridiculous to keep him around. And then Jimmy Butler, you might as well trade him, get a ton of draft picks, some sort of assets to start this thing over because, whether it's Boston, Minnesota. Hey, I listen to 1500 ESPN. A lot, actually, and that's the Twin Cities, Minneapolis station out there, and they talk about how, Tom Thibodeau, and I texted this to you guys, but I was a little bit mistaken. I said that Tom Thibodeau, he hired Jimmy Butler's personal trainer as the strength and conditioning coach of the Timberwolves. That's not true. He's actually recruiting. He's actually going after him. So are the Chicago Bulls right now. So if I'm the T-Wolves, I'm going after Chicago, say, hey, listen, check this out. You can have the number 5 pick, the 5th pick in the draft, and Zach LaVine. Just give me Jimmy Butler. What do you say? I will possibly look at that. Or Boston, they've got a ton of draft picks. Hey, I would do something to blow this up and build this thing up again because otherwise you run the risk of being, I don't know, the Knicks, where you
Mediocre
have
teams.
Carmelo Anthony just there hanging around waiting for something to happen. But it won't. It's not going to happen with Chicago, just like it's not going to happen with the New York Knicks. Yeah.
They didn't make the playoffs this year either, so that's a tell-all sign that a lot of change is about to come over in the Windy City.
A lot of change for the worse that I see. Mastermind, what you got?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I totally agree with you. I think they need to blow this up. I feel as though this whole thing started once they fired Thibodeau and brought in Fred Hoiberg, where they wanted to go away from the defensive, and that's where they excelled at the most. I just don't think that they went about it right. I mean, they just disrespected Joakim Noah right away, and the front office, like you said, let them get away with that. I mean, Joakim Noah's been your centerpiece for a long time. He's been there for 9 years.
Drafted him for a reason.
Exactly, and like you mentioned, Derrick Rose, he's definitely. I think he still has some more left in his tank. He's not the MVP Derrick Rose, but
far from.
He's far from. He's definitely not. But blowing it up, I hate that word, blowing it up, because I just don't want to start over from the ground up. I would offer Derrick Rose something just to see what he would take. But as we all know, he did quote this season that he wants max money, and he knows there's money out there. So that's a tough decision for that front office to make. As far as Jimmy Butler does not seem to be like a team guy. Since he's became an all-star, he's just been coming straight for Derrick Rose's spot, and you see what's happening. Exactly, and he has a lot more to prove in this league. But I would definitely wave him around and see what I could get for him, because it doesn't look good. He's basically broke that franchise up single-handedly.
Jimmy
even
Butler?
though he just was Jimmy Butler. I feel like he's a very good player. Don't lie, but I mean, he just came over there.
Saying too much.
He just really vocal as a young player, as a guy that just got there and that just started to develop.
I wouldn't say young. It's just somebody who just got put on the map, really. Like, he just got most improved, last season.
Yeah.
Then ever since he got that, he's been kind of just saying things like, Derrick Rose doesn't work as hard. You can't be coming out of MVP and an all-star like that just because you got an MIP. Come on, man.
See,
so, I mean, go ahead.
I gotta disagree with you guys on that. Jimmy Butler, if we're being serious, outside of Pau Gasol, has been the only thing the Chicago Bulls could be, proud of, because
the past 2 years he had to step up.
What's that?
For the past 2 years, and he had to step up. Derrick Rose has been hurt for the past 5 years, so I guess.
Yeah, which is my point, because we're saying, oh, you can't say this about Derrick Rose. Why not? Is Jimmy Butler really supposed to? He's the best player on that team. Is he really supposed to sit there and say, "Oh, Derrick Rose"? No. You tell us what to do. Even though it's clear that they were relying on Jimmy Butler to try to get them in the 8th seed last year.
He's coming at his work ethic, and he just got off of 3 years of injuries. That's my thing for that. As soon as he got that, go ahead.
I would definitely try to see what's out there, just because he has started a lot of issues. I would definitely try to get draft picks for him. And I would even think of, like you said, that Zach LaVine trade. I would take Zach LaVine. I think he's an up and coming player. And
the
plus
fifth pick.
Plus a draft pick, I'll take that all day.
Yeah.
So if I was the Bulls, I would definitely consider that, because I know they're gonna lose Joakim and they're gonna lose Pau Gasol. So you got to start young again.
Yeah.
And I hear you what you're saying on everybody, like Jimmy Butler caused a riffraff, but I think it's like front office, because remember Joakim Noah was talking about like things going on in front offices. I think that also has a lot to do with Paxton and their GM, so there's a lot of things going on with that. So, the story will come out as weeks go on. Obviously, this is just the first of many layers of a long summer. So, yeah,
we'll leave it there. Hey, so that was Chicago Bulls talk. Will Joakim Noah, is this all just hearsay, or will he actually leave? We'll find out this offseason. Coming up next, we'll talk buzzer beater. Get whatever is off our chests for this week. This is the Lock 'em Up Hoops podcast. I am Realistic Randy with Mastermind and Bo Berry.
Hey, more rides, new life, new gigs, new this, new that. My home, my place, bigger names, bigger money, smaller honey shit. Good girl, man, but she act bad for me. Yeah, checks in to get a check out. I'm all